Monday morning coffee talk, and I am your host, Clarissa Diaz. If you don't mind being vulnerable and just sharing with our audience, like what it looked like from a business perspective, what it looked like from an owner, what it looked from your managers, what it looked like from your team, you know.
I mean, that was a long ride. You know, it was unknown where it was going. It was new waters, you know, that we were treading. So it was sort of hard. It was difficult. I think every business owner out there, you know, had the same issues. We were just afraid, unsure what was going to happen, where it was going to go, you know. So initially, you know, you're looking at it like, okay, is this real? Is this really going to happen? You know, so I do recall looking back at it and going, you know, maybe this is going to happen, maybe it's not. And I do remember February, March coming out of 2020, and it started to happen. And then we started to plan, okay, this is really going to happen, so things are going to change.
You know, it's funny you say that, I think, Chris. You know, it was kind of like the historic event, sadly, that happened on 9/11 as well in New York City. And the pandemic, to me, like everybody knows what they were doing that day, that night, that it was like the world is shutting down. There's not a person who doesn't forget. Just like on 9/11, I know exactly where I was and what I did in my reaction. So when did everything close for you then? And what did that look like? Can you tell me more?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you with the 9/11. I still remember sitting, doing paperwork, and the TV started talking about, like, oh, this is not real. So, same thing in 2020, you know, it sort of happened, like a week before, they started saying we were going to shut down, so we just started making plans. How are we going to get through this? How are we going to shut down? I mean, I was nervous, you know, you have, you know, I think we had like 150 employees at that time. You know, what's going to happen to them? How are we going to pay them? How are we going to pay the bills? How are we going to catch up?
Because
Where's the money?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when COVID hit, obviously they were telling us, you know, we're going to have to shut down. So, you know, what business is going to shut down?
Yeah.
So it was just new waters working your way through it. Eventually, as we did it, you know, we figured out stuff. You know, you just have to be proactive and, you know, start looking down the road and see what we can do. So, you know, I think it was, we talked to our staff, we started explaining what's going to happen. They had a lot of questions.
Or would you say, what was the percentage of mostly, like, were they scared? Were they, like, I mean, there's so many emotions, I think, like scared, nervous, fearful. What does that look like? Maybe some sort of joy. Like, I don't know.
No, it was more. I think everybody was afraid and scared, and, you know, let's be honest, it's, you know, everybody has bills. Everybody wants to know, how am I going to pay my bills?
Yeah.
And we didn't know how long we would be shut down. You know, it's going to be a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months. You know, which ended up being quite a while.
How long was it total for you guys?
If I recall, I think it was March, April, May. I think we went back June 1st.
Okay.
I think.
And then,
so we were closed down about 3 months.
no income.
No income. No income. I mean,
So all this chatter, like, if you don't mind me, and then, sorry, because I'm like, what? So 12 weeks as a business owner, 4 salons, 150 employees, they have families, they have homes, they have mortgages, they have payments, everything else, right? All this is on your shoulders. But then there's chatter. Didn't the government give you guys, or was that like something I heard? Did the government with the checks?
Yeah,
What did it
so-
look like?
eventually, the government, you know, obviously everybody knows about the PP loans, which, you know, I think most businesses did it correctly, you know, and it helped. I mean, it really saved the business, I gotta say that. Without it, we wouldn't have been saved. You know, it would have been hard to catch back up. Because none of your rents and none of that stuff stopped, you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't have thought
Your
of it.
health insurance didn't stop, none of that stopped, so you still had to pay all that stuff. So a lot of it in front, you know, we just sort of paid it out for all the employees, you know, while they were out, and, you know, hoping that these PP loans were gonna come through, which eventually they did come through.
So you're like literally everything, savings, the company, investing while your business is close, investing in everyone and in the business still, not knowing what your future looked like.
Right, but leap of faith, so, you know, you just sort of trusted that it would work. And, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, the comforting thing to a point to me was, it just wasn't me,
Yeah,
it was the whole world.
Yeah.
You know, so that made a difference, you know, that wasn't just happening to me, it was happening to everybody. So we were all in the same boat, so, which, you know, made it a little bit easier to solve. You know, and I had a lot of other friends that are in business, so we were always talking, yeah, we were just, you know, in the end, I mean, it was a terrible thing, and in the end, it all sort of worked out for most businesses. I'm not gonna say all businesses. It was a challenging experience for sure. You know, and I'm gonna take it a step further.